Good evening, General Assembly. So, guys, we're going to get started now. So if you could please take your seats and gather your name cards. Secretary Brown, if you could please take attendance.
Okay. Representative DeBaz. Representative Gallo. Representative Huffman. Representative Sabe. Representative Fitch. Representative Ratliff. I know I saw her. Representative Razavi. Representative Tran. Representative Hassan. Representative Vaughn.
President voting.
Representative Cunningham. Representative Ha. Representative Shu. Representative Heck. Representative Haight. Representative Severe. Representative McHenry.
President voting.
Representative Ladelfa. Representative Butcher. Representative Comeyer. Representative Relson. Representative Lambert. Representative Lindell. Representative Liu. Representative Cornelius. Representative Ruska. Representative Watts. Representative Feaster. Representative Payne. Representative Stump. Representative Shaw.
President voting.
Representative Alvarado. Representative Toomey. Representative Gladys. Representative Rangaswamy. Representative Ridgway.
President voting.
Representative Mahmood. Parliamentarian Smith.
Present.
Treasurer Williams.
Present.
Treasurer Schloff. Speaker McKee.
Present.
Vice President Dooner.
Present and not voting.
Vice President Cruz. Vice President Cummins. Vice President Shaw. Vice President Hale.
President voting.
President Agarwal.
Okay, and with that, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, and with that, we will move right along into old business. Are there any nominations for the open spot for Weatherhead representative? Okay, engineering representative? Are there any further nominations for any of our appointed exec positions for next year? If you could just make sure you specify which position. Representative Vaughn?
I would like to nominate Representative Feaster for Speaker.
Representative Toomey?
For Speaker, Anthony Rodenzik.
Okay, so those will remain open for another week. As a reminder, letters of intent for those would be due Sunday night to Secretary Brown. And if you have any other nominations, make sure you get them in touch with Parliamentarian Smith over the next week. Okay, so then that's all for old business. Into new business. Is there any new business for the Assembly this evening? Representative Toomey.
I move to introduce Resolution R21-08.
Vice President Hale.
Good evening, GA and Quentin. The Mammoth Veal resolution is here finally. Woo. The intent today, I'll preface with this. The intent today is that we'll look at it, ask any questions that you guys have of me right now, and then table it for next week so that you guys have a time to actually look at it closely, read the almost final wording or possibly the final wording, ask any questions you have of me via email, Things I can answer with Quentin. He's the president of the Graduate Student Senate. I've been working along with him and members of the Graduate Professional Council. A number of our members have been part of a committee to form this resolution. So allowing us to answer your questions so that when we come to it next week, we don't have to spend a lot of time in discussion, and we can just take care of all that in the meantime via email or however you want to do it. Make sense? Cool. I do want to go through each resolve clause just like quickly to give you I guess the logic behind them, so you can hear the premise now. But please do read the whole thing later. Don't just take my word for it. The first two resolve clauses ask for budgets to be created for maintaining and replacing equipment and veal. Imagine the cardio equipment. A lot of that equipment is very aged. It's disrepair. It's out of service a lot of the time. We hear those frustrations. The reason that it's really hard to maintain and replace that is there's no budget for it, for physical education to actually do anything. So if you'd like to see that get better, vote for this resolution. Periodic benchmarking, I don't know if you guys know what benchmarking is, but it allows us to compare ourselves to other universities that are sort of on par with us in academics, the type of student we attract, the services we offer to students, and compare how our services are performing compared to other universities. And so we can see, are we a trendsetter, are we on the cutting edge, or are we falling behind? The reason we want to do this is because it's our gut feeling, based on our sort of rudimentary investigation of other schools, that we are falling behind as far as recreational athletics. So if the university does do this benchmarking, they'll see that, and it will just be more motivation to start a continued run of improvements. Adelbert Gym, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to play basketball in there, but it's impossible because you'll twist your ankle. And the reason is that floor just is no longer made for playing sports on, and that's why we use it for things like concerts and presenting, what's the source presentation? I'm forgetting. Thank you. But replacing that floor would give us another gym back, which lightens the load on Horsburgh Gymnasium. The Veal courts gives us another facility to use for athletics, because right now all the other facilities are used at capacity. The only way to make a lot of space available for recreational sports instead of varsity sports or something like that is to increase the amount of facilities that are available to students for that. Then the last couple things talk about, well, adding a staff position, be it Resolve 6, is the only way to keep Veal open longer is to pay people to stay there longer, but also people to do things like marketing maybe, or just staffing the building later is the real main brunt of it. And then the last one, besides sending it to whomever, is to increase marketing of the services Veal offers, because one thing we've discovered, especially with graduate students, is that not everyone knows exactly what you can go to Veal or athletics for. So with that, Quentin is here to answer questions you guys have that I can't answer. He knows a lot more about this than I do, probably. But please do ask any questions you have now, but also send them via email throughout the week so that we don't have to discuss it at length next week.
Okay, points of information for the speaker. President Agarwal.
I have two questions. First, were Eleanor Davidson and Jess Sellers a part of your intergovernmental committee?
No.
So what is their role in this resolution?
Quentin, maybe?
I think mainly, since this, part of our whereas statements talk about how this impacts the health and wellness of students on campus. I think as two of the main overseers of that, as directors of student affairs, I thought that maybe they should see this, and I think they're also allies in support of this, so that was kind of the rationale.
And my second question was, in light of, well, how much confidence did the Veal Athletics staff give you to be able to create these budgets, considering that the Wyant Fieldhouse will be coming up soon? Did they have confidence that it would be possible to completely replace all the equipment seeing as they now have to fund equipment for that facility as well?
Well, first to answer your question, they're straight from the mouth of Dr. Dials to this paper, and he's thought about it a lot. But these lines aren't to replace everything in one go. These are what it would cost to maintain and replace equipment through normal life cycles forever. So these are things that would have to happen continuously. Does that answer your question? And that's just in Veal, not including what will be placed into the Wyatt Fieldhouse.
If I could add to that answer.
Yes.
Something that in the new field house, there is no budget for equipment replacement, so that when this equipment ages, there's no plan B for it. So this budget would also contribute to replacing equipment in the field house as it ages.
Vice President Junior.
Sorry, can you? So these dollar amounts is if this resolution is passed, where how does that work? I mean, who gives us $75,000, or like where does that come from?
It'd be coming from the budget in student affairs, so Glenn. It would be rearranging a budget to make these available. But with, I mean, any resolution, like any other resolution that we pass, it's not that it has to be done verbatim. These are things we'd like to see happen. And it'd be me and the new Vice President of Student Life and Quentin, or whoever replaces Quentin, and everyone else that is part of this committee working towards getting what's in this resolution to happen, but obviously we'll be flexible with whoever can provide.
Treasurer Williams?
This is actually a quick question for Parliamentarian Smith. Who sets the title for these resolutions? Exactly. Is that something said? Because I feel like this title is very specific in its scope. And I know this sounds silly, but when we look on this a couple years later, I kind of feel like we need a title that encompasses the fact that we want more field space, that we want to repair this other gymnasium, that we want to do all this other stuff. So, I'm just saying.
The title was, I believe.
Yeah, I see your point, but the most important parts are the whereas. And I think if they read that, then that's the most important.
See, I mean, if you want to change the title, we're coming back next week, so feel free to.
Representative Rubin.
So just looking over this, I know there's like a lot of things that we're asking for. Is there a certain or a specific time period or anything that we're wanting to put on any specific resolutions? Like I know for the floor, is this like in a few years, 10 years from now? I know it's like not very specific, so that we at least get something out of it.
The answer is no. There's obviously no language for time, and we never really discussed time. I think the point of the resolution is to point out that these are priorities for 3 constituencies on campus, the USG, the GSS, and the GPC. So these all ought to be priorities for the university as well. When they do it is up to them, I guess. Quentin, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, I would love to say this would all happen next year, but I think it is hard to speculate given we don't know what the funding source is right now. It's almost ambitious to expect Glenn Nicholas to say, here's $75,000, here's another $300,000 for the floor. So if the president can come up with money from the, say, the capital budget, that might accelerate things. But until we really know for sure, I'm not sure if we can put a timeline on it. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Representative Huffman.
Okay, I know you already mentioned this would be coming out of like student affairs. Any idea or like opinion on what you'd like money to take, or I don't want to say taken away, but is there something that you think $75,000 should not be spent on to pay for this, or is that something that you think other people are going to figure out later?
To answer your question, no, that was never in the scope of our discussions. It's a dangerous question, though.
I am happy to speculate. I don't think this is a replace decaying service or a service that may not help as many students as much as it's a how do we increase the Division of Student Affairs budget. And I think one of the first recipients of this resolution is a trustee, and I think some of these, like the Odover Gymnasium floor, will require creative financial solutions that may require trustees. And certainly the trustees are not funded by the student affairs. So I think we will hope to see money come from new angles and different angles.
Are there any other questions for the speaker?
Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Vice President.
If I can just
Sorry.
close with,
Sure.
sorry, I've been waiting to make my plug at the end. Part of this is the Graduate Professional Council, the GSS, and now you guys, the USG. In our committee, we've discussed passing nearly verbatim resolutions to sort of give a three punches, I guess, at the same thing, really showing that we are unified on the same issues. A point of putting this intergovernmental committee together was to create consensus on what all of our constituencies cared about and not just one of them. So when we are discussing this, and maybe you want to change a title or something, think about part of the strength of this resolution comes from there are two other governments intending to pass exactly the same thing as close as we can keep it. So if there are things that you absolutely want to change, by all means, you have the power to do that. But a great deal of the strength of this resolution comes from three groups will be passing things that look very, very, very similar. So, thanks.
Is there a speaker in the con for resolution R21-08? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into discussion. We'll set 5 minutes for any discussion to begin tonight or any further questions you might have. Keep in mind that the idea is to table this resolution tonight and bring it up again for passage next week. So we'll start discussion now. President Agarwal.
I just have a recommendation that, considering that you have put so much emphasis on the fact that this is being supported by three separate governments, in the committee title, instead of saying Intergovernmental Committee on VEAL, I specifically address GSS, GPC, because perhaps Thalia Dorwick and President Stenner may not be aware of what the Intergovernmental Committee is, and just directly address them so you can see that there are three separate governments very clearly working on this.
Is there any other discussion points or questions or anything to bring up about the resolution this evening? Representative Cornelius.
Just out of curiosity, will this affect the Village Workout Center at all?
No, those are run entirely by housing, so, unless I'm wrong, Quentin, but no.
Any other points for discussion? Representative Henry?
I move to table the resolution.
Is there any dissent? Okay, resolution R21-08 is tabled. One quick note, I believe President Agarwal has a sign-in sheet for Relay for Life that she'll be passing around.
It is going around. Ideally, that is filled before we leave tonight. Please, guys, there's only a couple of slots left, I believe. Please fill it out. It'll be fun. Can I make one more announcement?
Sure.
Okay. Also, tonight is the final night to RSVP to inauguration, so please do that. I did send the link out. I can send it out again. I also neglected to ask if anybody was vegetarian. Sorry. Please let me know if you are, and I'll definitely make sure you get a vegetarian meal. So that's all.
Okay, is there any other new business before the assembly tonight? Representative Toomey.
Move to open nominations for the Fall 2012 Election Commissioner.
Okay, with that, nominations are open. We will be electing this position next week. So, are there any nominations for the Fall 2012 Election Commission? This would be for the freshman elections in the fall. Representative Gallo?
Could you remind us of the requirements again for election?
So, they must be current member of USG, and they cannot be the president or the Speaker of the Assembly. Vice President Dooner?
I nominate Scott McHenry.
You don't have to accept tonight or anything. Okay. Okay. I'm going to nominate Secretary Brown. Treasurer Williams. Any further nominations? Okay. Seeing none, that's the end of new business. Oh, Parliamentarian Smith.
Can I make it now? Okay, so 2 important things for next week. Those of you who are have been nominated for an appointed position, you need to let me know whether or not you're accepting that, and get your letter of intent into Andrew Brown by Sunday. And the other thing is, we need everyone here next week. So if you see a face who's not here tonight, tell them that they need to be here unless it's absolutely necessary, because we need to have quorum in order to vote for these positions. Otherwise, we can't elect them, and that'll be terrible. So try to be here. It'll be fun, because I believe there's going to be some surprises.
We're
I don't know,
planning a
maybe?
few things. So.
We'll see. So try to be here. I'd really appreciate it. We'd all appreciate it. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay. And real quick before we adjourn, just remember to read over the agenda tonight for the committee reports. They are in there for anything else important. Secretary Brown?
One last announcement before we go, guys. I will be sending out an exit survey for you guys. So basically, you guys who were here in October or November, remember when I sent out a reflection survey asking for you guys' feedback about how the semester was going. Similar idea about how this year has gone and suggestions and looking for suggestions for you guys on what you want to see next year. So just look for that in your inbox. You'll get candy next GA if you fill it out. So.
Any other final USG related announcements to make? Representative Gallo?
I'm sending out an email later tonight about the Relay for Life kickball tournament. If you want to be on the team, let me know. It's 5 to 7 people per team. We have 4 or 5 teams signed up as of right now. We're looking for about 12, which will raise about $300 to help save second base. So, yeah, just look out for that email.
Representative McHenry?
I just want to make an announcement about the Engineering Caucus's Engineering Mixer. This Friday on the Case Quad, we'll be cooking burgers and hot dogs. It's going to be a great time. Everyone feel free to come out and enjoy yourselves.
Representative Gallo?
And I forgot to mention, if we win, we get a trophy that we designed ourselves. So that'd be sweet.
Okay, I don't see any more announcements. Vice President Hale?
Move to adjourn.
Any dissent? We're adjourned.